What is the crack, team? You are very, very welcome back to the Iron Mindset. As always, I am your host, Iron Ian. So I'm going to give a quick recap of the events that took place last weekend at the ABS Series 7. So this, as it sounds, was the 7th event in the ABS Series, which saw several divisions with some fantastic lifters. We had Division 2, which would be the entry-level position for most people getting into powerlifting, taking part in the ABS Series. This would be for people that are either first time or under 400 dots, which would be our scoring system, our point system. We have Division 2, we have Division 1, which would be a step up. This would be like your intermediate experienced lifters. They're over 400 dots, which is quite a good category to be in. They'd be under 440 and over 400. That's their category. We also had the Pro-Am division, which is the top level you can get outside of the ABS Pro in this series of events. ABS Pro is coming in November for those interested, and it is invitation only for that particular one, so not for the spectators, I mean the lifters. So that's going to be a good one. I'm really looking forward to seeing who gets the invites into that one. I believe the standard to make it into ABS Pro is 500 dots. So the guys in the Pro-Am are 440 plus. We also had the ABS Teens, which I believe is the first time that's taken place. So for all the teenage athletes, to give them a platform. All right. So we're going to have a quick breakdown of how I personally got on, how the people I coach got on, and then at the event at large. So for me personally, it was not the best prep or peak or anything like that going in, so I kind of knew going in that it was not going to be as good as my performance at AB Series 6, where I totaled 750 kilos with a 280 squat, a 170 bench and a 300 deadlift, which was a massive achievement and milestone for me. I've spoken about this somewhat on the Strength Syndicate podcast with Shane Story and Lawrence King, so if you want to go over and check that one out on their channel, it's a good listen. I'm very charismatic and you'll enjoy yourself, I'm sure. So this time around, I knew that things weren't going to go as well, but look, I said, I'm not a bottler. I said I'd go in and do the event anyway, so in I went. Squats, shockingly, went pretty well for me, despite the fact that the whole time leading up, I had done very, very little practice in wraps, so that would be knee wraps that we use to get a little bit of extra knee extension out of the bottom of the squat. I had done very little practice in my wraps in comparison to other preps. I had started using new SBD knee wraps because my old ones, the elasticity was starting to go, and I had started squatting in different squat shoes. So all in all, it was a cocktail for a shit show. But somehow I came out in my third attempt and I got a 2.5 kilo PB at 282.5. So I was delighted with that. Going into the day, I thought if I can even match 280, that's brilliant. So to get 2.5 kilos up, amazing. Came out then for bench and did not go incredibly well. Got my opener of 160, which is the heaviest I've ever opened, but it did move quite heavy for me. I have had two singles in the lead up to this where both of them were 160 and they moved very well. But the issue is they were not on competition standard Alico equipment with Kabuki bars and the TDE racks. So there was no way to have a realistic gauge on how that was going to move on that equipment. It is fucking roasting in here today, Jesus Christ. But so that's my own fault, failure in my own prep. I didn't get down to abs enough. I didn't prep enough on the competition standard equipment, so that's on me. Missed my next two attempts, which was 165. I didn't actually take the third attempt. I believe my handler, Vincent Chung, put it in for 267.5, but I let the minute roll out to give the lifters after me a bit more time to rest before their attempts. So hopefully that yielded some results for people on the day. Finally, on the deadlifts, opened at 270. It moved okay. At this stage in the day, I was fucked. I kind of just wanted to go home. I actually wanted to go more so to watch as opposed to take part, but there was still some interesting parts of being there. Second attempt was 290, moved fine I guess, and missed 300. My second attempt at 300 for the third. Totally fine with this result. I finished on, I think, 732.5 kilos. My dots for this competition were 454. So I stay in the Pro-Am division. I stay qualified. It's still a respectable enough score, but it gives me a lot of ground I need to cover and work on. So it's been a very, very good experience for me. I had people trying to console me after, like, man, you gave it your all. And I was like, lads, I'm grand. It's just numbers. I'm not overly attached to how I perform on a given day. And I had these expectations going in, so it's grand. In any case, yeah, that was quite an eye-opening experience. But again, got to take part in one of the best events in the country. I have yet to see a powerlifting competition done to the standard of AB Series. So just to be there and be in the top division along the great athletes like Jake Brennan, Jesse Moore, and Ben Crawwell, Ger Buckley, Cian Madden, Fionn Hanratty. There was so many great, Colin Lynch, so many fantastic lifters in the category from all different gyms all over the country. So again, just to be there and take part, Alex Cremens as well. There was a lot, and another Nihad, I believe his name was. I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but some great, fantastic lifters lifting monstrous numbers. So yeah, just to be in that category, amazing in its own right. So the two girls I was handling on the day, Shauna Rahman and Kiva Markey. So Shauna's second competition and Kiva's first. Kiva was taking part in aid of Breast Cancer Ireland, which the event was sponsoring. So the proceeds for the event and the sponsor cards all went into Breast Cancer Ireland. My fucking laptop just spits notifications at me whenever I start this shit. It does nothing when I'm not doing anything else. I can leave it here sitting here all day and it says nothing to me. The moment I hit that damn record button, it's Lenovo trying to sell me everything under the sun. Anyway, so the two girls got on fantastically, 9 for 9 on all their lifts with a couple of tidy PBs. Shauna actually qualified for Division 1 off the back of this, so she moved up a rank from Division 2 into Division 1, which is brilliant to see. A couple of the other girls that I know, Chloe Preston, who was handled by her boyfriend Evan Wallace, and Aidan Rafferty, again handled by Evan Wallace. Both of their first competitions, both had a smashing performance. Aidan moves up a category. Again, fantastic to see so many people getting involved. And not only that, but like smashing some big numbers out on that stage. So yeah, overall, wonderful day for the girls. They absolutely smashed it. The assumption was Kiva might only do this one in aid of Breast Cancer Ireland, but has since decided she'll definitely do another one. So now the plan for the girls is a nice long prep. We might jump past AB Series 8 and maybe aim towards AB Series 9 into the new year. So yeah, all pluses, all pros on that front. Very happy with their performance. They both absolutely smashed it, put together some really nice numbers, and excited to see how they get on with their training now going forward. I've actually since opened up the scope that I will now be taking on powerlifting dedicated clients going into the new year for the likelihood of competing at AB Series or the IPF. I put up a post about it on my Instagram the other day. So I'll be looking for 4 athletes total. I'm waiting to see what messages I get. I'll screen the athletes and see who's what and try to see where I can take this. I'd really like to be able to have a small batch of athletes that I can prep into their first comp. And then, you know, if after a while they decide, sorry boys, I'm roasting here. If they decide that they want to like transition into abs or Odyssey or Strength Militia or City Gym or Chaos or wherever else, that's fine. But just to give them that step in the front door and give them some preparation, handling and experience with a coach going into that environment. Again, I think everyone should compete in something. It's great crack, and powerlifting, such a low barrier to entry. Get involved if you haven't already. So the event overall, we'll run through a couple of the bits and pieces to the best of my knowledge. I will have to use this phone here to check some of the results. I do know most of them, but I want to make sure I don't miss anybody here because there was some fantastic performances on the day. Boom. In any case, all right, so the Pro-Am division, the big battle going into Pro-Am. And I know I'm starting from the top and I'll work my way back, but again, the likelihood is you'll click off the video anyway. So the Pro-Am division, the big dogs going head to head. Jake Brennan representing Abs Powerlifting and Jesse Moore representing City Gym Limerick. The two boys training has been going amazingly. They're both super strong dudes. Both sound motherfuckers as well, for those that don't know. Both cool, chill, down to earth lads that just love the sport. So they obviously had their bit of shy talk, but out the back there was actually a heap of banter between the two lads during the warm-ups, getting ready to go, and there's a good sense of camaraderie. Even though Jesse comes from another gym, he's very well liked in Abs and treated very well to the best of my knowledge. So yeah, great crack, great to watch the two lads going at it. It was basically the two lads for the first spot. There was no one else really in contention. It was all obviously going to be one of the two boys. And even though Jake managed to walk out to the platform on his third attempt and squat 430 kilos, that is insane. 430 kilos on his third attempt, and it didn't look to his limit. So who knows what the future holds for that lad. But even with that feat of strength, Jesse went on to take the crown for the day, finishing on, I believe, a 370 kilo deadlift at 108 body weight, 108 kilos, pulling 370. astounding. Amazing athletes. Definitely the front runners, the what would you say, the poster boys for this current golden age of Irish powerlifting. So props to you boys. I went out and watched some of your attempts. Amazing, fantastic stuff. Very glad to be a part of the division with those lads, and great to see the performances overall. Some other standouts to me personally is I'm a massive supporter and as a coach and athlete of Ben Crawwell. I think Ben is fantastic, hard worker, looks great, moves well, managed to total 900 at this competition at I believe something like 118 body weight, which again, extremely light for that astounding number in total. Massive squat, massive bench, massive deadlift. Really well-rounded athlete, and I think he's kind of slept on a little bit. Like, I don't think people mention his name enough. He's one of only, I think, 2 lifters in abs currently with a 900 total, and we only have one with a 1,000 plus total, which is Jake. So it's only Eamon Harford and Ben that hold 900 plus totals, which is again astounding in this country and in the sport in general. So Ben Crawwell, massive shout out to Keane Madden, who went and hit 500 dots, putting up some massive numbers. I believe he squatted just over 300 kilos. Not exactly sure on the exact figure, but look, you know, we can put up open powerlifting here and I can tell you exactly 302.5 on the squat. Amazing. So that is, he's 20 kilos up even from myself. Like, so he's a great inspiration. Anyone that knows, who's heard the little story, like when I first got into powerlifting, one of the first people I was watching was Keane. In comparison, he's just light years ahead of me in strength now. It's a good motivator for me. He managed to put up, where is it now? The 302.5, 175 bench, fantastic, and a 300 kilo deadlift. Fantastic result for a great guy, one of the abs coaches. The other guys had good outings as well. Unfortunately, Eamon actually tore his bicep on his deadlift record attempt, which I actually think he would have had watching the footage. He definitely had it on the day. Eamon's a good guy, very supportive, always willing to give advice and help to newer lifters, and one of the Sunday squat crew that I would have trained a lot with prior to going back to work, and absolutely fucking up my training schedule. But yeah, cool guy. So hope he has a speedy recovery and comes back around soon enough. I know he's due to compete in Miami in February, so hopefully that all goes ahead and he does amazingly over there. On the women's side, the big winner in the Pro-Am was Laura, I'm going to fuck your name up here. Where the fuck is it? Laura Vogelsang, with a massive 595 total, 544 dots, fucking astounding. 250 squat, 125 bench, and 220 deadlift. So finishing on a high note. I know she had competed recently enough as well, a couple of weeks ago, so to compete that close back to back, put up 2 monster totals, fantastic. Clear winner, first place. Followed closely then by Louise Kenna, who is another fantastic athlete in her own right, a mainstay in abs powerlifting. So it goes without saying, one of the best lifters down there on the female side. And I believe third was taken, if I am right, by Anna Huran, one of the abs coaches. I'm so sure it was Anna in third. I don't have the results in front of me. I'm trying to remember through like the haze that was that day. So overall, I watched some of that flight on the live stream on Sunday when I was in work, and fantastic lifting from the girls. All the girls seem to be putting in some monster performances on the day, so very happy to see that they all got on super well, and training seems to be paying off for everybody, especially as I know a good few of them are heading off to the IPF Nationals very soon. So yeah, great to see the level of performance that still goes on the male and female side at such a high level. This was like probably the first proper competition we've been able to have in a long time with this caliber of lifter, so I thought it was fantastic to see. Big one for me, I should actually probably mention, is on the male side. Colin Larkin Lynch, a guy I didn't know of before until he competed at AB 6 alongside, he was on Division 1 I believe. Amazing, fantastic lifter, skyrocketed straight through the Pro-Am division and finished on just over 500 dots and an 800 total. Astounding. So yeah, fantastic work from everybody there. Everyone seems to be smashing it on that end. So we'll move down to Division 1. Division 1 male winner Ian Benson, who basically has been training hard over the last 2 years in preparation for this and put up a monster performance. Definitely takes the title for strongest Ian in abs powerlifting for sure. So yeah, big respect to that guy. Runs Urban Barbell and put up some fucking absolutely astounding numbers. I think I was most impressed by his deadlift. So he weighed in relatively light, 95.7, and finished on a 320 deadlift. But I believe he went for something like 335 or something like that after, and did get it off the ground, but just couldn't lock it out. So yeah, overall, amazing performance from their whole crew coming up from Urban Barbell. A lot of them put in a good shift. Division 1 winner was on the female side, I believe, was Lucia Hughes, a girl I've actually known quite a long time, training in fly fit. I know her boyfriend Dermot. I know he does a lot of her coaching and nutrition work, so paid dividends on the day, coming away with the win. So again, very, very hard work, a very dedicated lifter, so great to see, again, that coming up. As we come down to the Division 2, for the life of me, cannot remember who the hell won Division 2. But just on the Division 1 side, I will say, two guys, big standouts for me for their work ethic are Lawrence King and Shane Story, who came down and commentated over day one before they competed the next day, which may have had an impact on their performance, being in that highly stressful environment all day. So that sacrifice is appreciated. I know they did the voiceovers and the commentating for when I was competing. I've since watched some of it back. Guys are very complimentary and did a great job. But one lifter for me that always stands out, good friend of mine, Hinge Master Flex, Andrew Jenko, who I remember just over 2 years ago, FlyFit held a charity deadlift competition. Well, I should say Speed Power Strength, Ben Kelly hosted it in FlyFit. Hosted a charity deadlift competition. AJ came down to do the DJing at it in aid of, I can't remember the damn charity, goddamn. I'm awful. But he came to do the DJing for us and decided he'd do his attempts. And I remember he pulled 240 as his last attempt. Right? And I remember him telling me that the lads and amps didn't actually believe that he pulled it. And then for that to happen, I think that was February 2019. Here we are in August 2021, and the guy pulled 275 at 89 kilos body weight. Amazing. Fantastic progress. Not only that, he squatted 260 and put up a 132.5 bench. That is respectable as hell. He's made massive progress. Like, he's Hinge Master Flex, so it goes without saying his deadlift was going to be good, but he has put a massive amount into his squat and his bench. So very great to see. Very proud of the guy. He's absolutely smashing it. So great results all around for the Division 1 boys. Shane Story and Lawrence King, two guys I buzz off. Have a lot of time for Shane. Have a lot of respect for them and Shane's coaching in particular. So the Division 2 winner was apparently Adam Duan, who finished on 441 dots and a 580 total at 68 kilos body weight, 68.7. Maria Mangum was the Division 2 winner from the female side, 412.45 dots and a 407.5 total at 69.9. Sorry guys, I don't remember a lot of Division 2. I believe you guys were primarily on the earlier half of day 1 and the earlier half of day 2. And I was either coaching or I wasn't there. So I didn't really get to see your performances. But look, if you showed up and took part in a comp, you've already got my respect. So fair play. So gang, overall, I think that was a massively successful event. Maybe not for me personally, but overall, it was fantastic to see. Big congrats again to Jesse and to Laura for winning their respective categories. Congrats to everyone that got their promotions. Ian Benson is coming up to the Pro-Am. I know a couple of other lifters are too. Some people have moved from Division 2 up to Division 1. Shauna Rahman and Aidan Rafferty to name just two of the ladies doing that. So again, I should actually, before I fucking forget, the teen division. Holy shit. Dylan O'Brien smashed it, I believe. I don't have my phone, but I remember reading a 690 total. I remember the Strength Syndicate did a podcast just prior to the event, and Jer Buckley actually mentioned that he didn't think Dylan was going to win it, and he did go win it, and now they're having a bit of shy talk on Instagram. All in good fun. They get on real well. So good to see, great banter, and fucking fair play to him. Hard working guy. Actually, on that note, Jer great work with the fucking music. Great lifter, fantastic lifter. I feel like I relate a lot to Hercules. We're two guys that are sitting in and around the same dots, in and around the same score. He's obviously a bit stronger, a bit of a bigger guy. But like I feel a kinship with a guy that I score roughly around the same as. Plus himself and myself competed against Jesse at Ab Series 6. The only 3 males in the Pro-Am for that event, just because where we were coming off of lockdown and a lot of people hadn't had a chance to train. So it was myself and Hercules against this absolute monster in Jesse Moran. So again, the 3 of us had good crack. And yeah, I have a lot of respect, as I said, for those Sunday crew boys, Ben, Jake, Jer, Eamon. Anyone I've ever had to share that rack with, always respect their feedback and coaching that they would always tend to offer. In any case, we set our sights now to Ab Series 8, the Abs Pro, which is coming up at the end of November. Now, I am not going to be competing at this one. This is going to be the first Ab Series I'm actually going to miss. I've competed at all 7 Ab Series up to this point. The first Abs event was April 2019. Second was August 2019. Third was December 2019. Fourth was due to be March 2019 or 2020, but obviously COVID pushed that back. We had that in August. We had abs 5 in November, just the very end of November, start of December of 2020. Then we had abs series 6 April of this year, 2021, and now we've had abs series 7. So it's been fantastic to be part of the event every single time and see it grow, especially for me as an athlete, starting out as didn't know what the fuck I was doing, to still not knowing what the fuck I was doing, to starting to kind of get what I was doing a little teeny bit. Third event I got to take part in, Flight C, the Battle of Munda, which I was like, look at me in here with all these big fuckers. Abs 4, winning Division 1 and graduating up to the Pro-Am. Abs 5, getting slaughtered in the Pro-Am for the first time. Abs 6, putting up a good fight in the 3 of us. Myself, Jer and Jesse coming second. So again, very tight between myself and Jer, and Jesse was always going to be the clear winner. Just an athlete unto himself. And then this event where, again, while I may have not got the results I wanted, I got the results I expected. And I'm looking forward now to a long build phase as I come in through to either competing at the end of the year or into next year, be that in the IPF or be that again at AB Series 9 potentially. Exciting times ahead. One special shout out. Well, a general one to a group of people and one particular person. So thank you so much to the platform crew that work at ABS, and obviously everyone that works at the merch table, makes the food, Jay Farrant for running the event, but specifically the guys on the platform that take the time to make sure we don't absolutely neck ourselves. When I walked out for my third squat, I genuinely didn't know if I was going to get it, so I fist bumped a couple of the boys before I started, as in, I know you guys got me. But the lads genuinely wanted me to get it. Every time I walk out on that platform, I can't see the audience because I'm a blind motherfucker and I'm so focused, but I can always hear the lads. And I remember specifically, not specifically the person I want to shout out, but I do it just on this occasion. I remember hearing Dale Byrne rooting me on the whole way. So thank you, Dale. But for the whole day I competed, and the whole 2 days, one guy stood out to me the whole fucking day, and that was Callum Jones. Young guy who was recently joined ABS as junior, and the kid absolutely loves powerlifting. Loves powerlifting. He's been training in Fly Fit, I think, since 2019, and me and him have talked shit. He's trained at my house a couple of times. Really, really cool guy, and really earned my respect that day. He egged everybody on. He gave support to absolutely everyone on that platform. Every photo I've received of this event, Callum is in the back, screaming his head off in support. And to put in such a shift over the course of his own weekend, his little girlfriend came along to watch as well, and he worked his little bollocks off. I cannot wait to see this guy compete. He will be competing at Junior Nats in just a couple of weeks, and I'm so excited to see how he does, and all the good things coming to him he fucking deserves. He loves this sport, he puts a lot into it, and he's genuinely supportive of everyone that's in it. So Callum, thank you so much for being a good part of the community and being such a hard worker. I know you're going to do great things, man. So yeah, that's the sentiment for me. That's the official reporting bullshit out of the way. So into some business, and we'll wrap this up. As I mentioned, why do I look like, I don't know what if it's the exposure, it looks like I've got like a fucking bruise or something on my forehead in this camera. But into the business end of things, as I mentioned, I am taking on 4 athletes for powerlifting coaching. If that's something you're interested in, please do give me a DM or send me an email. That's at IronIanPT on Instagram, or IronIanPersonalTraining@gmail.com. You can get in touch and we can get that sorted out. I own competition standard equipment that you will be allowed to train on, and we can get you up to a good amount of scratch going into an event early next year, or if you wanted to do IPF at the end of the year, something we can facilitate. Again, I will chat to the people as and when they come. Tentatively saying 4 athletes, could be less though. If I get 2 that I really want to work with, it'll just be 2, but I'm saying at the moment tentatively 4. So that's an avenue I really want to get into. I do think probably if you're somebody that wants to train with coaches in person as part of a team, you probably are still ultimately better off joining a club like ABS. ABS undeniably is probably the strongest club collectively in the country at the moment, so couldn't do any better than that, although every club has its own specific strengths, so I wouldn't say anything bad about any of them at all. Only positive things to say about each of the clubs and what they contribute to the sport. And then for myself, what I'm trying to offer is that kind of middle ground between people who are maybe not ready to step into that environment but do want to start receiving some of the coaching and maybe look at doing a comp. All right, so other than that one, team, as mentioned, back to work, full swing and fly fit. It's been great crack to have some funny stories, have some good times, and lots of other moving parts all around. So business is moving along very, very nicely. So that's why these videos sometimes get these big stretches between them. So do appreciate your patience. Always appreciate whenever you take the time to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, or otherwise let me know that you enjoy the content. I actually am shocked sometimes by the people who have mentioned the videos to me. I didn't realize some people watching it do. So thanks very much, lads. I do appreciate it. This was a nice little side hobby for me to do towards the end of this most recent lockdown, and it's something I'd like to keep doing in future. I like talking a bit of shite. I do have a good number of topics on this that people have nicely sent in to me through the likes of Instagram, so I will get to all those eventually. For the time being, I'm going to push it off. You can watch this one and I'll hopefully get another one out to you within the week. Anyway gang, I'm going to get out. That's 25 minutes. That's enough shite talk for me. Have a good one, team. I'll talk to you very soon.